Welcome to YYC Hip Hop Daily. I am your host, Mr. Uncle Vintage. You can find me on Instagram at _Uncle Vintage, Bandcamp, and everywhere else. To the right of me is Beary Daniels.
You can also find me on Instagram at Beary Daniels, BearyDaniels. And also on Spotify, Apple, and all platforms as well.
Cool. And make sure that if you like this podcast at any particular moment, you hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. Hit the bell, because then you know when we have stuff to say. And that's important. And that's on YouTube and Instagram. Don't forget it.
Thank you, guys. We love you.
Thank you. Without you, we couldn't do this. So this is everything we need. All right. Well, this is a tough topic to just kind of jump into. You know what I mean? But we've all played spots that, you just don't feel respected. Like, you go as an artist, whether you're opening or headlining, and you put in all this work. You help with the stage. You help get your friends there. You help promote the bar. You help do all of these things to not get paid at the end of the day. To help all these other businesses while you're trying to grow your independent business as a musician. And don't you feel that's a little irresponsible of venues, not only locally, but nationally and internationally as well?
Yeah, that's definitely been as far as I'm concerned, a huge thing that's a lot of promoters or venues do. Especially smaller areas, smaller cities, or smaller places where there's smaller artist names. And you know what? If you're not a headliner, then they definitely make you put in the work for headliners and the venues or the promoters, which in some cases could be very hard because not everyone has that fan base off the hop either, more so the money to go out and put that time out.
Or like you said, the fucking time. Yeah. Dude, we're trying to refine our act. We're trying to get our songs done. We're trying to make more songs to increase the value of our catalog. We're trying to build a team. We're trying to get full-time engineers, managers, and all these things. And then the venue expects us to just go in and be like, yeah, we'll put your flyers out. Yeah, we'll tell people about this and that.
Plus all the hard work that you got to put into just rehearse. It's just even if your set's 5 minutes, 20 minutes, it's you still got to rehearse this stuff. It's some guys need a week to do it. Not
a 7-second sound check right before you go on. That's irresponsible. There's so many venues that set so many artists up for failure. I think
it's all a big money game at the end of the day, which is fair. People got to make profit, but is it fair?
Well, everyone has to make a profit, though.
Yeah. Split the hard work through everybody else. That's why I see a lot of these artists or up-and-comers putting on their own shows because they don't want to go through promoters anymore. So they're just finding even small venues, and they're really they're going out there to do it themselves.
Do you think, just as a whole, the hip-hop artists and people who claim rap, do you think we're all just fed up with the nonsense that we've had to endure for so long from irresponsible venue ownership?
Oh, for sure. You see it through a lot of these people. They're definitely fed up. I think you and I both are on the same page there. Everyone's pissed off.
Everyone's pissed off. Places sometimes don't even hire security. As a hip hop artist, occasionally in hip hop, more so than I want to say any other genre, there will be altercations in the crowd of, potentially dangerous magnitude, right? Where you get, because in hip hop you have gang shit. In hip hop you have conflicting opinions. In hip hop you have beef. In hip hop you have all of these things.
Have you seen security, but only for the headliner?
Yeah, but they're on stage. Yeah. So the venue doesn't provide security for anyone else except for the dude that they're paying the most, which is nonsense because a lot of the time the dudes in the gutter are the dudes who are still in the shit and need it the most.
Right.
And to do that puts not only the crowd in danger, but it puts the artists in danger, it puts the staff in danger, it puts the venue in danger.
Yeah, people are getting rowdy out there, and if you're an up-and-coming artist and you're going on stage and you have a hell of a show, you kill it, or not even that, if you just got some haters, there's going to be some altercations. There will be conflict. And if there aren't people there to have security, there's been a lot of shows that you might have heard of in the past or somewhere where, people are getting stabbed or people are getting punched out and that makes people not want to come to your shows. As a fan, wouldn't you be more comfortable if security was there?
Absolutely. I mean, I was at a show at a venue not too long ago, a fucking gun got pulled out. Dude. And the security was there, and they were like, whoa, okay. No one got hurt, no one anything like that, but like, that's a real possibility at hip-hop shows.
Yeah.
And for venues not to acknowledge that or to be naive to it or not willing to recognize it can be potentially fatal, even in a place like Calgary.
And we don't want people who are supporting artists or ourselves to come out there and feel like they should be unsafe. Like, of course, check people down, pat them down, you know, not only for our safety, but everybody's safety in there. I just don't think that's something a lot of these venues are thinking about, especially in big cities.
Yeah, safety and inclusion should be the top priority of the venue, as well as making sure that you ethically pay your artists. If you are unable to ethically pay your artists for their performance fee, don't book artists.
Give them what they respect. Like, every artist deserves it. And then you hear all that bullshit like, oh, but who are you? Who do you think you are? And like, blah, blah, blah.
I'm a god. Talk to Kanye West.
Yeah.
I'm a god. And what do you mean? Who do you think you are? I just told you. I am a god. I just told you.
More rappers got to know their worth, bro. Like, you're taking time out of your day. You probably just came from your regular job to go perform a show for half hour and then not get fucking nothing for it.
And then go home and record more music and work on your business. Then go to bed at 3 a.m, get up at 7 to go to your work and not get paid.
Just for a little bit exposure.
Exposure is what kills you in the desert. I hope you get that tattooed on you.
Yeah, man, it's unbelievable. There needs to be more accountability for that.
Unfucking believable. Unionize. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Theft of music and disrespect of your brand. Like, not just of your brand, but of your of music. You know what I mean? Like, how do you feel if you put out a song, okay, and a local artist, a local cat, even a national cat or global cat comes out and like steals your bars or steals your beat? Like, what do you do about that as like an independent artist with no like real like capital from like a label? Like, what would you do if you found out that Bad Bunny stole your?
Well, I think it depends. It depends. Like if I took the initiative to copyright whatever I'm creating, or like I absolutely find a way to own it, right? Have my masters or whatever it is that I need for that situation. But if you didn't know about that and that happened, then like honestly, I'd be pissed off. I'd be looking for a little bit of trouble on my end. Not gonna lie.
Could you also see it as a compliment though?
I'd say that too, but at the end of the day, like, what if you're here and then someone steals your idea or does whatever you created and then they're here, and now I wouldn't be too happy about that then.
So I guess that means just like know the business.
Know the business for sure, absolutely. That's like the number one priority. But like, if you're gonna steal from me too, expect a bite back. Like, you know, it's come. I'm not that I'll steal back, but like, it's just like either, you know, this, a little bit of humiliation. I don't care. Like,
a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit. You coming in hard, but a lot of these rappers nowadays, like, or, you know, people want to be trendy. People want to find that next move. They want to go up above that next guy. It's all competition, right? So they're gonna pull off of your plate in order to get to that level. And at the end of the day, it's very important to really express what you need and how to protect yourself.
Copyright your shit. Protect your shit. And if you don't, you could get screwed heavy. So make sure everything is copyrighted and you are good to go as an artist. Protect your neck. Wu-Tang Clan told us.
And whatever money they make, I'd be coming at them like, hey, lawsuit.
Yeah, it's okay. You can do it. As a local artist, if you feel like someone stole your idea, go forward. Value your own art enough to push forward, and it's okay to step on some toes. It's okay to break a couple of toes. It's okay to burn some bridges. Just make sure that you never want to go across that river again.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, be more like it's easy to say, be creative, think outside the box, but don't go fucking.
Well, how big is the box, Beary?
Well, some of them fucking boxes are this big. It's like,
this big. So we hear this term a lot, like the culture. It's for the culture. It's for the culture. Now, for me, personally, the culture means respect, inclusion, but as long as you were invited. The culture requires an invite. It requires a buy-in. You can't just take it. You have to buy into what it means. And obviously the culture means different things for different people. Like if you're a metalhead, the culture is to grow your hair long, wear black t-shirts, and be the nicest human being on the planet, because name a mean metalhead. Good luck. But in hip hop, the culture can be sneakers. It can also be consciousness. It can also be, it can also be punk rock. It could also be jazz. So, and all of those things themselves are subcultures and separate cultures. So what does the culture mean? When someone says this is for the culture, man, like when you hear that, what does that mean?
To me, I just think it's someone, in their mind, it's the culture of what they grew up in. Like for example, you know, like Jay-Z or someone is what we grew up in. That culture would be, you know, coming from poverty and growing up and becoming a successful artist. That's a culture I would say I grew up listening to. So to me, that culture would be a little bit more ideal there. Nowadays, you can be anything you really want, and you don't want to really. And that's why I think there's a lot of culture vultures. You know, I'm sure you've heard that before. So, I mean, for me, it would just be definitely just what we grew up on at the end of the day.
So basically what you're saying is like the culture is being self-made, dictating your own values and sticking to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time that means, you know, hip hop is black culture. And if you are not black in hip hop, you have to understand that some folks don't fucking want you here.
Right.
And you have to be willing to accept that. And the culture means something completely different to you and should mean something completely different to you than it does someone whose culture it is, hip hop.
Yeah, I think the culture is one big ballroom. And you walk in there and everyone's wearing suits or they're wearing this and that.
But you got to know what fucking table to sit at, because if you sit at the wrong table, shit is going to go south.
You got to be invited to the right table.
You got to be invited to the right table. If you're not invited to the ballroom, get out of the ballroom and go clean toilets.
I feel like a lot of people or these artists especially, you know, are coming uninvited. And it's cool to come out there and put yourself out there, but to be prepared for that type of shit. You can't just run into a culture because you're good at something in that moment, especially when you're not exactly prepared for it.
The culture is not a moment. The culture is a lifestyle.
Yes.
The culture is what you live, eat, and breathe every day. It's in your Cocoa Puffs. It's in your lunch sandwich. It's in your dinner. It's in your dreams. It's in your spare time.
Yeah, you can't wake up and be somebody and then be someone else the next day.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
You see that everywhere, like in all types of lifestyle cultures.
Know what the culture means before you step into it, or you might run into someone like me. All right. This is just a PSA to any artists looking to play at a particular venue in town. I know that, you know, this probably isn't going to be kosher, but please, if you are an artist and you respect yourself and you respect your craft, and if you respect the people around you, don't fucking play at the Nest.
Yo, can you tell me why I shouldn't go over there?
Why should you not play at the Nest? Well, they refuse to hire security. There is an illegal grow room in the back. There is a whole bunch of nonsense that goes on. They wouldn't hire security for a gig. They wouldn't pay security to make sure that we're gonna be safe. The homie, one of the people there brought out like an airsoft gun and was like, "We got this." I had 2 hoodies stolen from me, like, cause someone had $800 worth of cash stolen from them. This venue is fucked, and they tried to extort you. They were gonna pay me and another artist like a significant performance fee, cause that's what we bring in. And then they rewrote a contract behind our back, did some wonky shit on the computer with our signatures, and rewrote it so that we only got paid like $13 a night. And when we found that out, we up and left, because we respect ourselves as artists and as people. And you as an artist, if a venue doesn't want to pay you, don't perform. You are worth more than that. So please do not perform at the Nest.
At the end of the day, how did you feel about it, like yourself? Like how did this go for you?
Violently.
Yeah.
Violently wrong, I guess. It just, everything was working fine up until about 30 hours before the actual performance time. And everything just kind of folded in on itself, which is such a shame, because it's such a cool concept. 420 friendly place. You can go in, there's art on the walls, there's a chill couch. Like I said, there's a grow room. Like it's just like there's people pressing resin. Like it's a good time. They had a temporary license for these things. Like it was really cool concept. And just people just had to go and ruin it, and security did nothing. Security watched 2 people go into my box of merch, find their size, put on my hoodies, walk around until 7 a.m. at the venue, and then leave with them and did nothing.
Damn. Did you? And you clearly didn't notice this throughout the time.
I was not there.
Yeah.
I was not there. I had left my merch there 24 hours before I was going to play a show to make sure that it was merchandised properly behind the bar, because that's what they asked us to do.
I'm just trying to figure this all out of like, well, especially if you're not there, but why no one would say anything. You know, I guess maybe they're not too worked up in that, but if it seems a little unusual, you think some of these morons would say something?
It's a little shady.
Not even like that, but clearly by the sounds of it, that place is shady, and please,
I just advise against it. If you want to do you, go do you, but you've been warned. Speaking of a local artist that should not play at the Nest, Robert Tunbridge, who recently crashed his car, which I hope you're okay, Robert, if you're watching this. That looked pretty nasty.
Bro. Okay.
Yeah, I hope you're okay. I hope you're not sore. I hope you got some Wheaties and orange juice in you and friggin' had a time. But no, he's dropping a single in the next little while. I think by the time this podcast comes out, it will be out. It's called Crash. Which is super weird that 3 or 4 days before his single Crash comes out, he crashed his car. From what I know of Robert, he's an amazing videographer here in town. So if y'all want pictures or videos, Robert Tunbridge is one of the best locally here. He's fantastic. I highly recommend. Excuse me, a little bit of indigestion here from the Full Throttle. I highly recommend you check him out. But yeah, his new single is called Crash. It's very melodic. It's kind of boppy. It's just like him and his buddies next to his Acura TL. Like, it's dope as fuck.
I got a question, and good for you, Robert. Like, congratulations, man. It's taking a step out of what, like I said, that box earlier. Another guy who you said was videographer, was into photos, and now he's rapping. You know, I see like a lot of videographers, or even producers, or everyone going into that direction. What are your thoughts based on putting your hands full, you know?
I mean, the more you can bring to your business, so the more skills you offer. For example, I'm a producer and a rapper and a beat maker. So I can either produce your record for you, I can make the beat and you can tick off, or I can rap for you. You know what I mean? That's 3 separate skills. I can take my own pictures. There's 4. I can find someone to get a video. That's 5 skills. So when you approach a record label or something like that with all of these skills, that exponentially increases your worth, right? And so when you see videographers and photographers who have been around the culture for 5, 6, 7 years, contributing with videos and connections and all of these things, stepping out and trying these things because they've already been accepted and they feel confident enough to do so. That's important to do, because then, like I said before, you exponentially increase your value not only to yourself and your business, but to the culture as a whole. It makes it more accessible to everybody, the more mediums you can touch.
Right, and I think it's a big importance too, if you're able to be that type of person, is to really, really have like great organization skills because of how much you're putting on your plate, right? I mean, doing videography, photos, rapping, producing, there's a lot of people out there. Plus they got 5 videos they need to edit, but then maybe an album they want to make. And like, it's just like, it becomes like it becomes chaos in people's lives. So
chaos.
Yeah, absolute fucking chaos. It blows up, it erupts. So like, I mean, you see a lot of it, and I hope this guy does very well, and that's just like my input on how far some of these people can go.
He'll do well as long as he stays organized. Robert, we're watching you.
Yeah.
All right, now on to more, Pop Smoke is dead, which really sucks. And the way he was murdered was really awful, in his house on Instagram Live by a couple of teenagers who just wanted to get a buck, which is awful, especially he wasn't even 20, he was 22. He was 22 or 23 years old, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But his first posthumous album is coming out, Faith, and the track list has dropped. The track list has dropped for Faith. It has, in fact, how many songs?
20 songs.
20 songs.
Yeah, 20 big ones.
There are 20 big ones on here, and I'm gonna run through. I'm gonna run through here. If y'all haven't seen it, Good News, More Time, Television, Manslaughter featuring Rick Ross and The Dream.
Ooh. I haven't heard of The Dream in a long time.
That is gonna be crazy. When's the last time you heard The Dream on a track?
Shawty is a 10. Is that the one? I'm not sure. Something like that.
42 Doug is on another feature, bro. This album is gonna pop off. We got crazy drill artists. We got Friggin', this is crazy. Future, Chris Brown, Dua Lipa, Pharrell, Kid Cudi, Kodak Black, Quavo, Pusha T, Kanye West on the same track with Pop Smoke. This album is about to go off.
And he went number one when his previous album last year?
Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, I believe was what the album was called, and that was the number one selling album of 2020.
Wow, this is gonna be great.
That's banana land.
Posthumous too. It's good. Posthumous or hummus. It's gonna be sorry. That posthumous. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be an absolute like change and hip hop's always changing. But when you have like an absolute roster like that, you're looking at like an absolute explosion into what you're about to hear. So for
numbers on numbers on numbers on numbers is what is about to happen right now.
And the only way to get numbers like that is to create a project that people want to hear.
And his mom helped him make it. His mom executively produced this record. Imagine how cool it would be if your mom, like when you die, your mom's like, "No, let me make this next album for you.
It has to sound like this.
It has to sound like this." Like moms know best anyway, bro. Like don't ever disrespect love your mother. Yeah. Don't ever disrespect your mother. But how cool! Did you see the picture of her like on the decks, like on the big mixing deck? She's got a big smile on her face. She's like, "I'm mixing my baby's album."
She must know like awesome, a lot of it, man. I hope a lot of people take notes in that. Everybody's mom. And or people who are into music like that, this is a big deal. Like I don't think people understand. Like I wouldn't say he's one of the best artists to come out in our generation, our time right now. And that, like I said, to see a roster like that is I can't wait to hear this album.
He was the next 50 Cent. Remember when Into Club came out? Remember that?
50 produced for him as well.
That's what I'm saying. But remember, like, do you remember that feeling of like hearing Into Club?
Yeah.
Like, dun dun. Dun, dun,
and then how he popped off and like I remember the day I heard him type deal.
I remember the day I heard Pop Smoke. I remember Christian Dior. And I was like, "Ooh shit, who is this and what where can I hear more? Right. What the fuck is this? This is bananas." And now I'm so excited to hear more. Faith is the upcoming album from Pop Smoke, and if you don't listen to it, you're missing out because I'm gonna listen to it incessantly. This is gonna be ridiculous.
I'll listen to all 20 songs and
obsessively, not incessantly. Incessant is annoying. Obsessive is just way too much of something. That's what's gonna happen.
Do you remember when that comes out?
I do not remember when Faith comes out. I don't remember. We can do a quick Google search and probably figure that out.
Yeah, let's do that real quick.
Here, Barry, do you want to just look that up? When does Faith come out? I mean, you should always have faith, whether it's in yourself or if you follow a religion, have faith in that. Do whatever you got to do. But, we want to find out when this Faith is going to hit our ears right now. We need to listen to some new Faith. No sacrilege intended.
Right. So
Pop Smoke?
Looks like it's coming out tomorrow, July 16th.
So what's today? Today
July
is
15th.
Today is July 15th. It will have come out on July 16th, and this podcast comes out on July 19th? 18th.
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 19th.
18th? 19th?
20th.
20th? It comes out on the 19th or the 20th. We'll figure it out. Whatever day this comes out, it comes out. But if you haven't listened to the Pop Smoke album before you listen to this podcast, go listen to the Pop Smoke record.
Yeah, you guys are hilarious.
All right, on to the next thing. So Pop Smoke, obviously, not anti-hip-hop. That dude was about it. That dude was bout it.
Huge example.
But, like, is there such a thing as anti-hip-hop? Like Lil Xan or Super Duper Kyle? You know what I mean? Like, is Lil Xan anti-hip-hop? Like, having a white kid with face tattoos from the suburbs, like, is that what hip-hop has become?
I kind of love this because as much as I hate talking about him, I want to talk about him because I was anti-Lil Xan. So it's like,
good.
To be absolutely honest, to have someone like him say some of the things he said, if I'm correct, like he never liked, guys like Tupac or whatever, or some of these young kids, man, the music that they listen to and shit is so depressing and like so deprived, and it's like
lifeless.
It's lifeless, yeah, and it's like I don't understand why some of these people, like I can't understand, but it's like it sucks because it turns a generation into absolute babies.
Wah. I agree.
And then you hear real music and people like. I showed people some music before, and they go, "Oh, I don't fuck with this." But have you heard Lil Xan?
But for some people, Lil Xan is real music. But that's what I'm saying though. Like, is that counterproductive to hip hop? Like having people be like, oh, I super fuck with Lil Xan and guys like Super Duper Kyle. Like imagine in the 90s, coming out of New York, someone named themselves Super Duper Kyle. What the fuck? Like that sounds like some Vanilla Ice fucking crisscross Milli Vanilli bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, what? Remember when everyone was Fat Joe, Notorious B.I.G., Big Pun, Big L, Snoop Dogg? We used to friggin', you know what I mean? Like being big and having a suit and like repping that shit.
Bone
used to
Thugs
be
and
like
Harmony,
used to be like a thing in G-Unit. Like have your crew.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I'm Super Duper Kyle.
Yeah.
You're like, the fuck? It's a fucking C-grade superhero. Fuck out of here.
It's just one of those things that's bothered me to listen to. I've never really even took the time. I've heard or seen this person. I've never actually took the time to hear his music. But then when I did,
with my little eye.
I didn't really care enough because I'm like, you see these young kids, they're so sad, depressed, and then or whatever it is, which is a lot of people are going through. I'm not neglecting mental health, but when you hear these guys coming into the culture, like we were saying, uninvited, now you're looking at a whole different
and then profiting off of mental illness as well, being like, my name's Lil Xan, I have an addiction, pay me money to feed my addiction. Like, no, bro, people really struggle with that. And to make a profit off of people's mental health and addiction problems, that's a real problem.
Right.
That's serious business. That's making light of a situation and a disease that affects tens of millions of people around the world. And to then take profit and say, I'm special because I have an addiction. No, bro, you're special because a label is funneling you money to say that you're special.
And to destroy yourself, big time.
Yeah, and to destroy yourself, right? And so, like, that's what I mean. And so when you have a ton of money backing that destruction of culture and allowing that destruction into the culture, where are the gatekeepers? So that's what I mean by anti-hip-hop. Like, by allowing this in, does it force hip-hop backwards instead of progressing it forwards?
I'd say for sure. I agree with that. I like that. Yeah, I think a lot of, the way hip-hop is going, it's really rocketing, but then you, like you said, you had that little bit of level pulling it back, right? Like then you have this side of the fence going, well, I fuck with this music still, or I like the progression, and you got this side that's like, you know what, I fucking hate old school hip-hop, or I don't like classic rap, and then that would be an absolute reversal. For sure.
I think people who listen to Lil Xan and Super Duper Kyle really need to go back and listen to Slick Rick and like.
I don't think their minds have changed though.
Jazzy Jeff and the Furious Five and like people really got to go back in time a little bit to understand where it came from and how we got here. And I think when kids who are Minecraft age 14, 15, 18, 20 even, I think if they go back in time, they'll see the progression is also regression.
Right.
And I think that if we get the young ones, that's you probably watching this podcast, educated more on where this comes from and on what it is, I feel like those artists will no longer even be relevant in the landscape.
Yeah. It's just fuck Lil Xan. Yeah, I'm all anti-Lil Xan.
That's a blanket statement, yo. That guy's been flashing guns at gas stations and doing crazy shit. And speaking of flashing guns at a gas station, accountability. Accountability is the most important thing that you can have as a person. If you make a mistake, if you do something great, you need to know how to appropriately accept that and move forward. Now, again, Lil Xan here is perpetuating a fiend culture of I love Xanax. Give me Xanax. I hate my mom. Like even though she birthed me and fed me for my entire life. Like that's and there's no accountability. And then when kids are like, Lil Xan hates his mom, so I can hate his mom. Like I can hate my mom. Like no, bro, you can't. Like you need to hold accountability for your actions.
Yeah.
And like if you rap about toting guns around, if you rap about violence, if you rap about carrying a flag, if you rap about that kind of shit, expect that to happen around you. If you rap about cartoons and butterflies and hugs.
This topic is funny because do you remember when Slim Jesus popped off? Is that his name? And then
with the X Slim with the
yeah,
X.
And then he was popping guns and shit with his team, his crew, whatever. And then they asked him in an interview, is this really how you live? He's like, no, like, and he was like super fucking shaking in his boots.
Yeah,
like,
now he's $250 for a feature.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. Like when you don't hold accountability for the words that you say and the art that you portray and the expression of your artistic value, then what that leads into question your personal values. Like, should we even allow you to have a platform if you're going to be so fake to the people that, like, should we even allow you to have the platform?
It's dangerous too. Like, I mean, if you're not about that, you're going to end up in some very unexpected altercations.
You're going to end up fucking dead is what's going to happen. You're going to end up dead is what's going to happen. If you don't understand that, like for example, when I typically perform, I wear a Kevlar vest. Because when I rap, I talk about guns. I talk about my homies. I talk about my homies with guns. I talk about all that kind of shit. And I need to know that when I say those things, guess who's pulling up to the show? Why? Because guess who relates to that kind of content?
Exactly, yeah.
Right? And so I need to understand that I am accountable for what I bring not only to the venue, but when I go to a venue, I'm accountable for what my team brings with me.
I think there's a misunderstanding when people are writing music that what you can do and will say has a huge effect, whether you believe in manifestation or not. It can absolutely manifest in complete danger. And you might say some bullshit to be creative, but what you're bringing is like a whole new energy of
toxicity.
Yeah.
Toxicity. Unless you're about it. But if you're about it, talk your shit. If you're about it, talk your shit. But if you're not about it and you bump into someone who is about it, then expect that you either need to take accountability right then and there or face a fucking trial of the gatekeepers.
And that goes back to why venues need security, because people are shit's gonna happen. There's haters out there, and then people hear you, especially the ones who don't know you're about it, they're coming to your fucking doorstep. If not, they're coming to your show.
And your show is where you're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
You're on stage. You're the center of attention.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you name drop someone in your song, like expect them to pull up. And if they don't pull up, they're not about that. They're not about, and they don't belong in the culture anyway. And there's healthy competition.
You can't be a bitch in this game, man. Like, I'm not saying go ahead and write about guns and drugs or violence or whatever, but if that's what you're about, do it. But don't come in here uninvited, acting like you're tough, acting like you ain't about it, or that you are about it, because motherfuckers are gonna come at you. So be prepared. Even if your music ain't about that, you're still gonna have haters and people coming around you. And you gotta be prepared for a little bit of altercations. You gotta be G'd up. You gotta be alpha, man. You gotta fucking know where you stand.
Prepare to encounter the gatekeepers.
And that topic pisses me off too, because it's like
really,
I absolutely just think like not because like my music ain't about that, but like you hear others and then they don't do shit about what you're saying. There is no accountability. They fucking talk, and then where are they? They be hiding.
Your mom can't pay your rent while you're talking about guns. End of discussion. Yeah. But also, like, if you're a struggling artist, like, do you feel like you need to take any opportunity? Like, if any opportunity comes up, do you feel like you need to take it? Or do you feel like it's best to move calculated and take opportunities that, line up more with your values, A, as an artist, but B, also as a human being? You know what I mean? Like, if you know the venue owner doesn't, he steals tips from his employees, right? Like, is that then you can't go perform there, because then you're supporting that behavior, right? And if you value, people's hard work, that means you shouldn't perform there, right? And like, if the opportunity is awesome but the show sucks, like if you're a nobody with 10 followers and you get the opening for the Roy Wood show, okay, which is happening today, which is July
15th.
15th. That's today. So you're not gonna know that though. And you're young and you don't know what the hell you're doing. You go on stage and open for Roy Woods, who everyone knows, everybody wants to see, everybody wants to hear. No one's gonna want to hear your shit. No one's gonna care. Everyone's gonna be waiting that 20 minutes you're on stage to hear the next opener who their friends came to see, or who see Roy Woods.
Walking around grabbing their next beer or their next popcorn.
Right, they're not gonna want to listen to your music, bro. But if you're the headliner on a show that's paying you $35 to do a 35-minute set, and it's full, and you got 100 people or 50 people in front of you who are there for their friends but stayed for you, you have a huge, opportunity is so, like, that show might not be as good, but the opportunity is so valuable.
And that brings us back to exposure. Don't go into the desert looking for exposure, because I really like that statement. And because you're right, a lot of artists and like rappers are looking for exposure first, which is fair. They're trying to build their fan base, which is fair. Do what you have to do there, but you're really only going to build a fan base through the hard work and through good music. If your music good, people will listen. And to be into a place where you're thrown into vulnerable opportunities, there's opportunities in all angle, but doesn't mean that these opportunities are good. And what happens is you get in there, you get involved, and now you're disappointed because you're running around with not only expectations, but you're running around with your head cut off.
It's better to take 10 amazing opportunities in a year than 10,000 shitty ones. Like, if you get a good opportunity, like, okay, I get to headline. No, I'm only getting paid $45, $50, but I'm headlining. I get a full hour of these people to express my music to them. That's amazing. If you get 20 minutes on a bill with fucking 8 people, don't bother. Don't bother. Like, that's not going to do anything. You're going to get lost in the shuffle. And so, that also comes back to curating your own shows. You can create your own opportunities that are way better than some of these venues that are offering. Like, as an artist and as a business person, you have to create your own opportunities as well. And those opportunities can line up exactly with your values as an artist and as a human being. And people can really see how fucking real you are through your own curation of a real show, of your own show at a special venue. Like, what would you rather? Would you rather go to a shitty venue, or would you rather put on your own show, have all your friends there and all their friends, knowing that there's not going to be a problem, you can secure an opportunity for yourself, and everything's going to be safe and wonderful, and you can get yourself paid?
Absolute no-brainer. I'd go with my friends.
It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. No-brainer. Create your own opportunities, and don't just take things because they're being given to you. You're not entitled to anything. You have to create it for yourself.
Yeah, just think about it, calculate your moves, talk about it. It's important to really talk and analyze, because even when you do that, you might not always make the right decision, but it's always good to calculate.
Real G's move in silence like lasagna, okay? So, onto a more international topic. Joe Budden's a prick. I like Joe.
Always been.
I like Joe. I like Joe as a character. I'm not entirely sold on his bars. I'm not entirely sold. The man can rap, but we all know Joe Budden as a hater and an asshole. And Rory and Mal, the two people on on the Joe Budden podcast, Rory and Mal have decided to say, fuck you, Joe Budden, and they have created their own podcast. And I think that split is really important, because now you can see, because Joe Budden still has his podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see now, when you watch both podcasts, the difference in how Rory and Mal versus the Joe Budden podcast operates.
Right, and in that situation of, were they friends or business partners?
I think they were strictly business partners, and then they just said, fuck this. This is enough.
Yeah, and they thought at some point, and this is why you don't mix friends with business, right? And Joe was just straightforward, like, I can replace you guys, and that didn't.
Guess what happened? You got replaced. Yeah. You're replaceable. You're replaceable. Everyone's replaceable.
And so they ended up going and starting their own podcast, and fuck, still good for them. But they got 2 episodes out now.
Yeah, 1 or 2 episodes out. Check it out. You get to see both sides of the story. I think they talk about a little bit of their separation.
Yeah.
On the first podcast, I assume anyway, and so go check that out.
I've listened to
get a couple of opinions about the culture, educate yourself. It's really nice. And we got one more topic to cover on today's podcast. And if you have liked the video at any point, if you have a problem with anything I've said, make sure, or what Mr. Beary Daniels over here has said, please leave a like for us, because likes are important, and make sure you comment down below what your favorite hot take was and your least favorite hot take. Should we shut our mouths? Should we keep running them? What should we do? Please tell us in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell for YYC Hip Hop Daily on YouTube and Instagram. It helps us out a lot. Again, our last topic today. is K the Chosen doing a TEDx youth talk about cancel culture and hip hop.
Damn.
Fucking congratulations to K the Chosen.
That's a big deal going on TED Talk. That's a wide.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Wide platform for sure.
That's an awesome platform. I believe his talk was on hip hop and cancel culture and how to, I guess, navigate cancel culture. And I think in order to navigate cancel culture, you just don't have to fucking pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've been tried to get canceled? I can count probably 6, 7 times that people have been like, yo, fuck you, Vintage. Let's cancel your ass for something you said.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm still on this podcast.
Man, they can do...
Don't pay attention. Just don't pay attention. Like, that's what cancel culture is. Just cancel culture. That's it.
That could fuck you up, too, as, like, an artist or as a human being, man. You strive so much, like, for some kind of attention and to be something and make something of yourself for people to say, fuck you. Yeah, that'd be a little tough, but... I think these people are morons, and a lot of them nowadays they're going out of their way to really work hard to pick and bite at everybody.
They only cancel who they want to cancel. They only cancel who they want to cancel. So in order to avoid that, you just have to not be that guy. You have to make sure that if you want to say some off-kilter shit, make sure it's just a notch below the other guy. Because that other guy who's at 11 while you're at a 10 will get canceled, and you'll still be allowed to talk your shit.
You're right. Yeah. Like it's a whole new world of there's a fucking blaze, man, and you want to walk around that as much as you can. And if you happen to fall in, then fuck, hope you get out.
Don't fall in the fire, and if you do, hope you're not drinking.
Oh my god, like, and some of the stupid, like, it's hard. It's hard. I don't think people understand, like, coming from whatever it is that you may be doing, and then they just decide to just fucking ruin your life. It's not like you really ruined your own life. I mean, you might have, but
there's an actual effort to dethrone you and defame you.
Yeah.
Which is, imagine spending time out of your busy day to just be like, yo, this guy needs to not have a platform anymore. Like, what happened to free speech? What happened to just disagreeing and walking away?
Right.
What happened to just changing the channel when you don't like a comedian? What happened to just being like, you know what? I don't want to go into that store because he said some shady shit. I'm going to go to the other convenience store. You know what? What happened to that?
You know what? Cancel the nest, to be honest. Cancel the nest. That's one thing I would say. So, but, yeah, man, it'd be suck to be canceled. And if there's something that comes out of that, so be it. But, people forget. They forget everything. So maybe it's just one of those things you ride and then you come back stronger, come back better. I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes people don't forget, but...
Pause. You said
cancel culture drives me crazy. Cancel culture drives me fucking crazy. For sure.
Crazy. Well, that has been all of our topics and our show for today. This is Hip Hop Talks with Uncle Vintage and
Beary Daniels.
Beary fucking Daniels. Again, if you would like this video at any point, remember to like and subscribe, hit the bell, follow us on Instagram and YouTube. All of your support helps us grow this podcast so that we can do really cool shit. So if you want cool shit on here, if you want more, then it's up to you to give it to us.
And also, don't forget, we are here on Treaty 7 territory.
Treaty 7, don't forget it.
And we appreciate our listeners and our watchers, because again, we would not have this opportunity without you guys. Thanks.
So thank you so much. Stay safe and keep nodding your head.
Peace the fuck out.